night.
Yeah, he does. He looks really good.
Yeah. You're gonna get a woman after all one day. Okay. How's it sound, Ange?
It sounds a little bit far away. Oh, Becky's giving thumbs up, so maybe we're good.
Okay, how are we now?
They're saying raise it.
What do I do? Okay, how's it sound now?
Great.
Is this good?
Yes.
Keeps falling off. Hold on. Okay, how are we now?
Good.
Okay. All right, so it's been a long week. We have clients here, and each one of them is really beginning to move kind of the blocks and the things that have been, kind of looking at the things that have been holding them back in their life, and it gets to the point where it's like maybe holding back horses here because they all want to run and they all want to do things and get out and make a difference. And we're moving into this thing now of these guys kind of wanting to self-express and getting what's inside of them, the positive things that are inside of them, out to the world. And each person has their own way of doing that here. We got people playing music and people making shirts and people trying to start businesses and people working in their own industries. And then we have a lot of our time has been taken up here by this kind of video production that we've been doing here. And it's what we do throughout the week, kind of just shoot footage all day of what's going on around here. And each week we're going to be bringing you a new video. And so we brought you the video last week, and we got these guys that have developed kind of their own little production company called Silver Spoons Production. And they're working on what they're working on, a new brand that they're kind of branding and doing things with. And they're shooting me right now, and they're always got a camera in my face, but and everybody's kind of okay with it, and it's just kind of what's going on around here. But it's just really impressive to watch how they work, and actually what it does is it puts our module that we're working on, this module of a right here. If you look up there and you see that we're practicing mindfulness and developing values, and then we're forced to play the game of relationship. And without working together, without teamwork, without becoming a team, without self-expression, you never test your practice. And without relationship, you never test your practice. So with this kind of creating as a team thing that they're doing around here, they bump up against each other and they try to dominate each other. And then one guy tries to dominate the other way, and everybody tries to imply their strategy. And we've been going over these failed strategies and trying to redevelop new good strategies. And this creation and this teamwork and the stuff that goes on around here is kind of the work that's being done. So even though we're making you all videos and that's what it's doing, what it's doing behind the scenes is it's forcing these guys to practice the curriculum of the program. It's forcing them to actually develop the skills that's necessary to go self-express in the world, to actually put good ideas out in the world. But remember that nobody really cares about your good idea until you enroll people in it and you inspire them to like be a part of your vision. So that's kind of what they're doing here. And for me, it's beautiful to watch because I can sit back. Tonight, I'm wearing one of their shirts that they made me. This is a Clean Cartel shirt, and they have developed a brand of clothing called Clean Cartel, and they're making custom T-shirts here in the basement. And they're really cool, and we're all wearing them. And that's one of their things. So if you ever see the Clean Cartel logo, that's theirs, and they're developing that. And then right now, we're going to show you this week's kind of video that they've done and get a glimpse at what goes on around here during the day.
mean, we were just sitting back, you know, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. You know, tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going.
No.
Yeah, we are.
No.
We're going right now.
I wish you had a choice, Art. I mean,
What do you mean?
No groups.
no, we ain't got group no more, dude.
Yeah.
It's not about the destination.
I like how you guys call reality negativity.
It's all about the journey. It's all about the journey, baby. Ain't nothing changed but the weather. The dangling carrot that hang from the rear view. The dreams in the past ain't nowhere near you. Backseat drivers got nothing but 2 cents.
Quicksand. The more you try to take shit off, the more you sink into it dark before it. But you can't get a chicken recipe fucking through a judge. So what happened, right? They fought over it in court, and the judge was like, I'm not fighting about a chicken recipe. Want a couple of these? And I said, yes, I do. They're chicken wings.
Well, it's something so bad that you could taste it. Cried over every opportunity wasted. Good and bad news, which one you want first? Either way you pick, the bad still gonna hurt you the worst. I never got the bask in the fruits of the labor, and I never got the cash.
Because they're going to spend their entire life not knowing this stuff, chasing things. They think that they are self, and they're going to spend their entire life trying to accomplish these things that Mike was supposed to accomplish. Yes. Mark was supposed to do. And they got the white picket fence. They got the 3 kids, the blonde wife. Then, they take care of their brother. They put their parents in a home. Guess what? They're going to be 80 on their deathbed and go, I'm unhappy. Yes.
Wow.
So that's just a sample of kind of a day that we have here. And their vision of it and what it looks like from their perspective, I think. And it's always been something that we kind of wanted to get to in this eventual recovery thing and be part of people's success after sobriety. And we don't know. The thing about this is that my job here is to kind of not smash dreams, but also keep us in reality. And it's a fine line between the confidence as a drug addict in your sobriety and letting everything ride on your sobriety and really making big promises that you can't keep if you're not sober. And to see these guys kind of walking that line and wanting to dream as big as possible, but yet still know that they have to have a practice and they have to have sobriety to attain these things. So that's where we get back to the module every day that we're working on here. And we keep up this thing called practice and values and mindfulness. And so every day that's kind of the work. And then the creation comes after. You got to get through practice and you got to play the game of relationships so that you can create together. You have to agree. You have to calmly agree. You have to debate. You have to not want just to be right, but actually want to win. And so, tonight, my talk is going to be a little bit, we've done a lot on relationship lately, and we've talked about values and we've done that, but we haven't really dug into a little bit of what we mean by mindfulness. And tonight, this talk, I hope to confuse you. And when I say I hope to confuse you, I want you to understand that whether you're confused or whether you're not confused will be none of your doing. If I confuse you, it's not you getting confused. If I don't confuse you, it's not you understanding. So I want you to know, as human beings, the first of all is that this mindfulness thing is a possibility. It's understanding the possibility of a deeper look into the human experience, not the experience of Liz and Parker or Bobby, not the experience of you as a character in this dream, but actually to be looking into this human experience. And it's like this thing that we've so mindfulness kind of says, I've been thrown in here. A lot of people say that they have a soul, and that's just not. I want to entertain a different possibility. And like I said tonight, if I confuse you, then that's going to be none of your doing. And if you understand, that's going to be none of your doing. We can't really actually understand. When we say I understand, it just means there's understanding, but I didn't do it. we don't understand, we don't not understand. You know, just like we don't forget and we don't remember. There's remembering definitely happens, forgetting definitely happens, but we don't do either one of them. If we would probably choose to never forget. We'd probably choose, and sometimes we would choose to forget. But notice that forgetting always happens, or forgetting can just happen, and remembering can just happen, and understanding can just happen, and not understanding happens, and confusion happens, and the not being confused happens. That none of these things are something that we're doing. So it's a weird statement. And as you take a look into mindfulness, what I'm just going to say is just take a look at the possibilities of some things tonight. And as we look at a mindfulness practice, the starting point is this positional change in our life. And as people come to me, the one thing that I start with is a position change. I said, let's go from I am thinking and I am the thinker, and let's take a little positional change and become the observer of thought. And that's the start of this thing. So the start of mindfulness, the start of this practice is to say, I'm going to have a practice of not being the thinker, not identifying as the thinker, but actually just seeing that I'm not thinking, that I am observing thought. And it changes the position from a human being thinking that they're here and thought is coming out of them to a different position. The understanding that thought is coming and they're after it. And that's kind of just look at that possibility that maybe it's possible that you have never been thinking your entire life, that you are not the thing that thinks, that you are not the thing that understands, you are not the thing that forgets, and you are not the thing that remembers. So the start of mindfulness is this whole awakening process to some actual possibilities that could be true. And I always say to people, if you think that you're thinking, then just go ahead and make it stop. And so you understand that thinking is this involuntary thing that always goes on. And we just kind of feel the repercussions of it. We just kind of feel its thoughts. And so when I say it, and when I say this experience we've been thrown into, we're kind of a spirit or a soul thrown into the experience of having a mind and a body. So we're this soul thrown into this experience of being us. And here we are experiencing it. And what we're talking about here on a daily basis is gratitude for this human experience, gratitude and this positional change where I can just live in this thing. I just get to live in here, and I get to experience all the experiences of the character called Art. I get to experience sadness, and I get to experience frustration, and I get to experience anger, and I get to experience joy, and I get to experience pain, and I get to experience loss and anxiety, and this gratitude for all of them, having this gratitude for all of them. And mindfulness is this thing that I become not the doer. I'm not doing. I'm experiencing. The doing happens, and then I experience the doing. You know, we always see like a NFL kicker go out on the field, and he goes to kick the ball. And, you know, you would think that he would always choose to make it. You would just think that that would be the smart choice, to go out and choose to kick the field goal through the goalposts. And I don't think human beings take a close enough look at what happens when he makes it. You know, when that kicker goes out there and he makes a 30-yard kick to win the game, and that kicker goes out there and makes it and misses a 30-yard kick to lose the game, the exact same set of events go down. The kicker goes out, the mind says kick, and the body and mind actually miss the kick, or the body and mind actually make the kick. You know, because the spirit, the guy that's inside there, would for sure always choose to make it if he had that freedom to do so. So it's just taking a look at the possibility that we have, that we aren't our mind. We aren't our body, that we are the experiencer of our mind and body, and that we witness and observe our mind and body, but have very, very little control over it. And it's that acknowledgement with humility that we have this very little control over the thoughts we have, if any. And when we fail, we never choose to fail. Failure happens. When we remember something, we don't choose to remember it. Remembering just happens. When we forget something, we don't choose to forget it. Forgetting just happens. So you just kind of start taking a look at the possibility that the way that you've been approaching life might not actually be reality. It might not be the proper thing to do to boo a person who misses a field goal, because he did the exact same thing when he misses the field goal that he did when he makes the field goal. He went out and tried his best and did what occurred to him. And then sometimes it goes through the uprights, and then sometimes it goes wide left or wide right. But in the same instance, he did the same thing. And they start understanding this human experience on a closer examination, an exploratory thing into the feelings of you, into the experience of you, to the point where you have deep, deep gratitude for loss because it makes you feel sadness. That you have deep, deep gratitude for anxiety, because if you have gratitude for anxiety, anxiety goes away. That today, if they said today is your last day and you can experience all of the range of emotions that we get to experience inside this experience, that for sure you would take it, for sure. And that we're so inclined to watch a movie and experience all the experiences, but we don't want it in our own life. We don't want sadness in our real life, in our own life, but we'll turn on a movie and want to cry. We don't want loss or suspense or anxiety or worry, but we'll watch an hour and a half movie that's very suspenseful, and we want to do that. And so it's this idea of really this closer look into the examination of what it's like to be human. That's mindfulness. What is it like to be human? Really? Am I thinking, or is thinking happening? Do I have an appetite, or does an appetite just show up? Do I actually remember, or does actually remembering just kind of happen sometimes out of nowhere where I can't explain it? Does forgetting just happen to me, kind of like, and I'm after it? Or do I have a power in here to forget? And I would say, if we start taking a closer look at the whole human experience, this thing that I like, people say, I dislike. No, you don't. You didn't choose what you like and dislike. You don't choose what you like and dislike. It chooses you. Nobody can explain why one person likes chocolate and one person likes vanilla ice cream. It just is given to us. We're just in here in the experience. You don't choose why you like one style of a body of a woman or a man. You don't choose that. It chooses us. So we have its thoughts. So when we start talking about the mind, what we're saying is our equipment. We're saying this equipment I have likes vanilla ice cream. This equipment I have likes blondes over brunettes. This equipment I have likes black shoes over white shoes. This equipment that I have likes a Toyota rather than a Ford. But you can't explain it. You can't explain why. But we go about the business of life and say, I like this and I like that and I have an appetite and I remember and I forget. And I just want everyone to take a closer look. Maybe it's all just happening. Maybe you're just experiencing what it likes, and it would be your mind. And I want you to also notice that we have this equipment, and it is not interested in love. Has your mind ever really said love? Has your mind ever said, I want to be love? I want to be loved today? Has your mind ever really said, I want to connect deeper, and then been with a person and really done that? You know what your mind really wants? What your equipment wants? It wants to protect you. It talks to you about protecting yourself all day. It uses judgment. So the mind is judging all day to protect you. The mind is actually just here to be right. Your mind would rather be right than be in love. It would rather look good than win. These guys working together, and I say practice mindfulness, as they work together, what they will see. And what we see is our mind, our equipment, is after individual success. Team success is not on its agenda. It wants to be validated. It wants to say, look at me, I did this. It doesn't say we did this. It doesn't say I want to be on a team. That's actually needing to be re-engineered through mindfulness. So the mind actually wants your individual success. When Brian goes up to bat at the baseball game, he stands up at the plate. And this is kind of looking at this human thing. He's up at the plate. And what happens when that ball comes at him? His mind says swing. That's it. His mind says swing. So he swings the bat. Sometimes he hits it. Sometimes he misses it. But in both instances, his mind says swing. And what I want people to take a look at is this idea that we get down on the person for missing it and get up on them when they hit it, like they did something different. And that shame and guilt that comes when you miss as they walked out to the dugout because you did something different. And that arrogance we get when we hit the ball, like we put our hands up, like we actually did something. No, you did the same thing when you hit the ball that you did when you missed the ball. Your mind said swing, and you swing. That's it. That happens involuntarily. There's no I in it. So the deeper part of mindfulness is this position change, this kind of idea that I'm not doing it, that it is being done, that it is doing it. This kind of relaxation into the human experience and saying, if I look really closely, I'm not even doing the thinking. Thinking is doing me. And you know what? One of the things that this thing thinks about all the time is me. It thinks about me. It thinks about me a lot. It rarely wants to think about you. It wants to think about me. So we see that this thing is just going, and we just have thoughts, much like we have blood pumping, we have thoughts pumping, we have air pumping in our body, breathing, all this stuff being done involuntarily. And I think when these guys come here, you know, it really changes things to take a look from a different position. As they come here the thinker. As you graduate, first step, you could become this observer of thought. And now all of a sudden the game's changed. Now all of a sudden you're in a different position in your life. You can kind of see it, that I'm not thinking. I'm kind of waiting to see what my brain thinks up next. I'm waiting on it. I'm not authoring it. I'm not authoring very much on this thing. You know, I'm not, if I really look close, I can't find how I'm doing it. I can't find the power to not forget. I can't find the power to understand when I don't understand. I like that people say that. That's pretty comical. They say, I understand. No, you don't. Understanding either happened or it didn't. I'm confused. No, you're not confused. Your mind is. And you're just experiencing confusion. I forgot. No, you didn't. Your mind did. You're nowhere to be found. You see? So it's taking a look at mindfulness, and what it says is, with mindfulness, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just explore different possibilities, a new reality. I'm going to look at see what's true and what's not true. I'm going to look into the truth of the human experience. Now, I'm not telling you what's true or what's not true. I'm just telling you to go ahead and look. Maybe you think you're thinking. Maybe you think you have the power to forget things when you can't forget things. Maybe you think you have the power to remember when you can't remember. I know. Stop your appetite. You're controlling it. You always say, I have an appetite. Sure you do. So stop it. Just don't have one anymore. Do you have an appetite, or does your appetite have you? You know, it kind of has us. This whole thing kind of has us. And I think it's important when people come and they've been having a tough time in life to understand that they're probably no different than the people that are having success in life. That it's very fortunate for the people that are having success and making that their mind is making good choices and programmed right and doing everything great, and good for you. But even the people that are having success, I would say, take a look at the things you're struggling with. If you have so much, if you're doing it, why would you struggle? Just stop. Control your mind better. Just control your mind better, please. Come on. And if you're not rich and you think that everybody should make better choices in order to be rich, or if you are rich and you think everybody should be making better choices to have more money, or whatever you think they should do to make better choices, you know, this idea that intent, you know, and that's the anger that kicker intentionally went out there and missed the kick. We get mad at him. Like, he went out there and he missed it. What an idiot. He's such an idiot. And we have no compassion for him as he's walking back to the sidelines. But the idea that he's just experiencing and observing what happened, and him as a soul is riding around in there. That poor soul had to experience missing the kick in the Super Bowl in front of all those people. We could kind of have a little compassion for him, because we know for sure that he didn't choose to do it. We know for sure nobody would ever make that choice. That's the dumbest thing I have ever heard. And then we can have a little relaxation for the arrogance too about the guy that does do well. We can just go, okay, fortunate for you. We don't need to put our hands up all the time. We don't need to be down on ourselves or up on ourselves. We don't need either one. We kind of just experience and experience and experience and experience and experience. And when you take this position, like I say, life will just kind of come easier. You won't be down on yourself because something happened poorly today and the outcome wasn't what you wanted. And you won't be arrogant when you get the right outcome. You'll just experience it. It's beautiful. So this mindfulness practice is a bunch of things. It goes on forever. You know, we show this module and we haven't went down yet. If you want to know more, that's where our services are offered here. This is what we're doing. This is what these guys are doing. They're learning deeper possibilities into the human experience, a different lifestyle, a different way to experience the world, a different way to see the world, a different way to see others, a different way to experience the world, a more relaxed way. You know, we used to always say travel lighter. I think that's it. You just get to a point where you travel lighter. You're not so heavy with your mistakes. You're not so arrogant with your success. And you travel lighter. And you take the life as it comes. Now, that doesn't ever mean that people get to avoid responsibility, because it's just not the way the world works. You can't go tell this to the judge. He won't buy it. But you can learn compassion, and we can learn to not resent, not hate, and we can kind of just relax. I always say, I don't think spirituality is a doing of any sorts. I think it's a seeing of all sorts. So spirituality is just a seeing. It's a seeing things differently. You know, I don't think spirituality is more of anything. Everybody's trying to be more spiritual. You know, I'm in this diet game now, and I've come to the conclusion that the diet industry and the exercise industry is precisely like the spirituality industry. Both industries are constantly selling you a dream that never comes. They're always telling you need to be more. So you're constantly buying in. You never arrive at the place they're telling you you're going to arrive at. You just kind of keep going. They keep moving the goalposts on you. Every day I go, I still don't know. I've been dieting for 58 days or 60 days. I don't know if carrots are good for you. I don't know if apples are good for you. I don't know if I should eat peanuts. I don't know if I should stop eating peanuts. I don't know if I should eat tomatoes or not eat tomatoes. I don't know if I should drink. Oh, they even told me that I'm drinking too much water and I'm not high. I'm getting, I guess, oversaturated without electrolytes or something. So now I drink too much water. I used to drink too little water. So now I don't know if I should eat a lot of, you eat a lot of eggs. I tell you, you got to eat all these eggs. So you eat a lot of eggs, and that's, well, now my cholesterol is high, so I got to not eat so many eggs. And then I don't know if I should be eating celery or not. They peanut butter with celery on it. I used to hear that was one of the best snacks they have, but now there's too much sugar in peanut butter, so you can't eat peanut butter. And oh, milk, it did a body good. I heard that for my whole life, and now I drank a gallon or a glass of milk the other way, this big of a glass of milk, and everybody told me I was cheating on my diet. And you know, I just don't even know what, and you can go to 10 different people and they'll tell you 10 different things no matter where you go. And this is exactly like the spirituality industry. You can go to 10 different people. You just keep going and you never arrive, and they keep selling it to you in different ways, and gym memberships and coachings and diets and books and you know, food preparation, and it becomes this entire obsession. I just want to arrive somewhere. And that's what kind of like when we get to a point with mindfulness, Travis, stop. When we get to a point, what we're going to see eventually after you do this exploration into the human experience is that you're already there. That it isn't a seeking, that spirituality isn't a seeking. It's just seeing the world in a different way, having it occur differently. And when that happens and you see it, when you see that you're not the character you've been playing, when you see it all and it just kind of shows up for you, it just relaxes you and you're kind of just done with it. Just kind of lets you sit still, kind of lets you see that your life's kind of been about your image for your entire life, and that you've been, an image is this imaginary thing. So your life's been about this imaginary thing that you've been trying to uphold. And then every time we have problems in our life, they're always image problems. They're not real problems. They're imaginary. They're image problems. We're not worried about being broke. We're worried about what people think when we're broke. We're not worried about our bad haircut. We're worried about what people think of our bad haircut. We're not worried about getting sick. We're worried about what people will think when we get sick. What do they think if I get COVID? Oh, they're going to think I'm gross. They're going to think I'm contaminated. That's what I thought with me. They quarantined me. I was really sick, so they quarantined me. I had to be quarantined. I was gross. Nobody can touch me. So you kind of just see spirituality, maybe not a doing. Maybe there's nothing you can do for it. Maybe there's just a seeing it in a different way and exploring this human experience. So that's kind of what goes on. We kind of talk about the human experience. Last night, we talked about the human experience until about midnight. And talking about the human experience, in my opinion, are the only valuable conversations. They're really, really valuable conversations to explore it philosophically. It doesn't and debate it and look at it and say, hey, let's look closer. What's going on here? I kind of feel like I've been thrown into a game of laser tag. You know, laser tag, you're just thrown into that room and they give you like a gun and a thing. And that's like your mind and your body. And you get these two pieces of equipment and you start playing laser tag. Well, that's kind of the same thing in life. We get a mind and a body and somebody says, go. And we start competing. I'll just start playing like we know how to control this thing. And then we think we're controlling it. But the reality is we're not. It's like controlling us. We're kind of riding around in here. So we're just riding around here. And when you get that figured out, you'll be able to relax, travel a little lighter. So we have new people tonight. We have, and if you're confused, I want you to see that you can't control that. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you're confused, well, seek understanding. But one thing is you're not confused. Confusion is just happening to you. And if you understood everything I said, well, that's good for you. But you didn't do anything to do that either. You just the mind understood. So if you're confused, please say something. But I want you to know that to be confused is nothing you need to worry about because you didn't do it anyways. And if you're happy with yourself because you understood, you didn't do it anyways. So don't be so happy with yourself. just kind of be feeling it. So welcome everyone. We'll take questions now. We'll open it up and talk a little bit.
All right.
Anybody got a song? If anybody's got a song to dedicate tonight for our closing song, text Angie.
Okay, great. And so the way that you can talk is there's a raise your hand feature. The same as reactions, just raise your hand and you get in line and I will see you. If you can't figure out that feature, depending on what kind of device you're using, sometimes it's a little tricky. And if you can't figure that out, just unmute yourself and that'll get my attention, or wave your hands or whatever it is. There's a few screens for me to look through, so just be patient. We want to get to everybody. We do want to meet all the new people. I'll scroll through and find you guys. But if I see your face, if your camera's on, we'd love to say hi. So yeah, any questions, anything that you're confused about that Art spoke on tonight, this is your opportunity to say so. Any thoughts, your personal experience, anybody going through it out there that just needs a coaching moment, all of it's welcome. So please. And if you're new tonight, you're kind of jumping in on an ongoing conversation. So please let us see who you are so we can welcome you, well, and so you don't feel so lost out there. Hey, Steve, is that you trying to say something? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Okay. No. Okay. Got it. All right. Who's first? And let's see, I got a text. Let's see if this is a question. No, it's a suggestion on a diet. Noom. Diet called Noom.
Well, no.
Yeah. Art doesn't want any more suggestions. He's gotten plenty of suggestions by a lot of people. Yeah. Okay, Dershes, go ahead. Let's get you unmuted. Hey, Chris and Lori.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So just to help clarify for some people, I'm going to go forward with the kind of the food theme here. I was my mom was raised in Ohio, and in Ohio, what you ate beef and vegetables and potatoes, and that was it. And so that's all the food I had growing up as a kid. And then I met Lori, and I went over to dinner at her parents' place, and her mom served salmon. First time I'd ever had fish. I hated it. I didn't make a choice to like salmon or not like it. I just didn't like it. The next time they had tacos. Tacos are my favorite food of all time. I didn't make that choice either. It just happened. And, if I could make the choice to like salmon, I would. I live in the Northwest. People ridicule me because I don't like seafood. Wasn't a choice I made. And so that just is an example of some of these things. I don't know where it comes from and I don't know why it happens. It just is.
That's right. I've had to, and then you have to like do it, you know, it's like against it. So salmon is like this thing that gets forced upon you when you're dieting, I think. So. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got to the point, Chris, where that's me. I grew up. We had meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. And I just would get the meat and the potatoes, and then my mom would put the vegetable on the plate, and I would just sweep it off when I was done and put it in the garbage. And that's just how you ate, you know. You just moved the vegetable away. And you train to eat that way. And your body's programmed for it. And your mind's programmed for it. And those are the things you crave. And that's been the toughest part for me in this dieting thing, is the foods that I craved and been trained for 47 years to eat, and now not being able to eat those. When I see that mashed potatoes and gravy sitting there, that's a very difficult pass on that. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris. Okay, who's next? Let me see who's new tonight.
Oh, wait, Brian's got a question here.
Okay, great. And the rest of the basement crew, if you have questions or comments, please share. I get a lot of comments after solution groups that everybody really loves hearing from the basement crew.
So when we're trying to be present, I find myself forcing myself to get present. Does that make sense at all? Or is like forcing kind of just ruin just the whole being present thing?
No, it starts with that. And did you guys hear the question, Ange?
It was real soft, so you might want to repeat it.
Well, he's saying like that, you know, Brian has started here and he's been here and he's starting to understand this thing called presence. And this thing that not that we don't have presence. We don't find presence. We are presence. So that's what we are. I mean, closest as to what we are is presence. And so he's asking, like, when I have to force myself to be present. And I'm saying, and I'm kind of changing what he's saying there. And I'm saying, well, look, and he's going, is it wrong to have to force myself? And, you know, when we were kids, we didn't have to, from the time we were 5 until the time we were probably 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, we didn't have to force ourselves to be present. We just were present. We were presence. So we were kids and we were present. And the reason we were present when we were kids was we lived in a place before worry. We didn't have worry. And as a human being gets to be like 9 or 10 or 11, for the first time in our life, worry shows up. And worry is the first thing that starts taking our presence, taking us. And it takes us to the future, and it takes us to a different place. And I remember for me, it was like 6th grade. I was in 6th grade, and for whatever reason, we were in America, in a time in America, and it was probably that was like 1986 or 87, and maybe a little bit before that. We were always against the Russians. And there was a movie that came out on television called The Day After. And it was this movie about what the world would look like the day after nuclear war. And for me, that was the first time worry showed up. From that point on, as a child, after that movie, I thought we were going to nuclear war every day. And so I would be at school thinking about and worrying about going to nuclear war. I remember distinctly sitting on the gymnasium stairs, and everyone was playing basketball. And for the first time, I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play because I was thinking and worrying about nuclear war. I used to look at every plane that went by, and I thought, oh, there the Russians are. They're flying in now. They're going to get us. And that's how it was when you were a kid. And then I remember AIDS came out around these times. And I remember worrying about, I was a little kid. I hadn't had sex. I I didn't shoot needles, but I thought I was going to get AIDS. So I was worrying about AIDS. And then, my parents started fighting for the first time, and I worried about divorce. And there we go. That's the first time we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves into our protective equipment, and we begin to live inside of our equipment. And our equipment's constantly busy, and it's trying to tell us, it's telling us like, worry about this, prepare for this, make sure you're okay with this. It's kind of stabilizing us and securing us. And this equipment starts taking over, and we become it. And so as you're in this process now, knowing that you've become your equipment from the time you were probably 10 until the time you were 16, this constant worry about your survival, this constant worry about your image, this constant worry about your reputation and what you look like. And that constant worry makes it so you can't be present in the current moment. It makes it so you can't be yourself. And so this idea of intentionally trying to be present then is absolutely, you have to. It's an absolute rebellion against your equipment. It's saying, shut up. It's saying, shut up. Stop telling me about the future right now. Stop talking to me about the past. Stop worrying about my reputation. Stop. And so you're doing what intentionally trying to be present is. It's a rebellion. It's a coup against your mind. It's saying, hey, stop. And that's it. And that's exactly what it is. Intentionally trying to be present and be yourself again is the work. That's the start of the work. Not wrong. It's hard. That's why they call it the action state of change. You're in action. And when it pertains to recovery, being present is the action. That's the action. So no, it's actually using everything you have to stabilize yourself in the current moment and not worry about the future. It's saying, breathe, listen, look, calm, presence. Be yourself again. It's a factory reset. It's like your computer got all virused out. It's constantly gone haywire on you. So now you just live inside this haywire computer that worries about everything. So no, it's actually beautiful to do. Okay.
Okay, we got Carrie. Oh, is somebody there asking?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, one more question.
Okay.
What if I'm like so deep in obsession that I can't find myself to force intentional presence?
Yes.
Like I'll try, but it won't happen. Like
Got
I'll
it.
just keep on obsessing.
Good question. He said, what if I'm so deep in obsession that I can't be present and I can't get out? Then it's taking a look. What is causing this obsession? What is it that you're obsessed about? And as we see what it is we're obsessed about, as we see what's got us caught, we probably have to do some work. We have to talk about it. We have to open up and say, this is what's got me. We have to talk to people. We have to talk to the person. We have to complete a relationship. If it's our reputation we're obsessing about, probably going to have to like look into that, look into what you're going to do. But the main thing is to open up and talk about it and say, I can't get out right now. I know I'm not present. I know that I'm obsessed and I can't help it right now. And I'm not going to stay in it and put on a show and like get people feeling sorry for me or anything like that. I'm just going to talk. If you're talking about it, then it's going to like lessen. It's going to ease its strength on you. But if you're going deeper in it and just going more thinking and being by yourself and isolating, it'll just get worse. So that's beautiful. Good questions, Brian.
Oops. Sorry, Carrie. I was unmuting at the same time, getting ready. Okay, so we've got Carrie and Doug Burrows.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
Hey, team. Hey, so Art, what counseling do you have for us when our addict is either in the moment of working on mindfulness and kind of working through a thought process, and it might be a 3-minute thought process, or it might be a couple days of, things are a little bit bumpy. Is there something that we can do to let them know that, hey, we understand where you are, and how can we help? Or do we, do we say, hey, we know where you are, let us know what you need from us. What can we do?
Well, I think that the module that we put up just applies to everyone. And I mean, a mindfulness practice says, I'm exploring my own human experience right now. I'm kind of busy. I'm busy doing this first. And as a family, until we've really looked into our own experience and really gotten okay with it and really understood it so deeply through that approach, through the approach of observing our thoughts and observing, well, then we don't really develop a language that we can talk to another person that does have a practice. I mean, if you just considered that everyone in a family needed fitness and exercise in order to be better, but the consideration might be that only one person in the family needs exercise and diet. And then if only one person needs it, and then the other people go, well, my person needs exercise and fitness. What can I do to support them? And I would say, first question, do you have an exercise and fitness program? Because if you don't, then there's not going to be much to talk about. And there's not going to be much ways to support them. Because if you did have a diet and exercise program, and then like if Kyle was here and this was a fitness program, well, because you guys are into that, you would have a great conversation. You would have a great way to articulate and be a common bond. So I say it starts with each family member having their own individual practice so that we can see and understand where they're at in their practice and we can articulate it. And mindfulness says less of a lot of stuff. It's like, what is a way that we're dealing with our own anger and frustrations and obsession about each other and all that? And there's nothing to do for anyone else in that other than, do they have a practice or not? If you had somebody and they were overweight and obese, what could you do for them? And that's kind of what we're here. We're here saying that people are mentally obese. So what could you do for somebody that was physically obese other than tell them to be in the gym and eat right? And then I would argue that I hope everyone's doing it to be able to say that, you see? So there's not really much. There's looking into the human experience together as a family, practicing mindfulness, and then talking about it, and then talking about our values and adhering to those values. And I don't think, what could be better than a bunch of people wanting to be present with each other. And then when we see that somebody in the family isn't present, well, that's back to they're not practicing then. They're doing something else. And that's where we do address it. Well, hey, we're all practicing presence right now. We're putting our phones away. We're being with each other. We're going to be our true selves together. We're going to be souls looking at each other without mind, without body. And that's the work.
Thank you.
That's great.
Okay.
That's a great explanation. Yes. Thanks, Carrie. Okay. Who's next? Hey, Stacy, did you have a question or were you trying to unmute yourself?
I have this book that has a one sentence definition of mindfulness, and it's what Art was saying. There's the ability to be aware of your thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and actions in the present moment without judging or criticizing yourself or your experiences. I thought that was kind of succinct. I like that. But yeah, without the judging, that's the hardest part for me, is to not judge my own thoughts or criticize myself or criticize everybody else. But being in the present moment is a practice. It's something you have to, I think because I'm always thinking of, what happened yesterday or what he said or what she said. It's in the back of your mind, or, you're in a space where you're not present. You need to be present. When you're present, there's so much you can do with that. And there's so many ways now that you're clear-minded with that presence.
Yes.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Stacy. And it was so great to meet you in person finally, Stacy. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yep, I'll see you on Thursday, this Thursday.
Oh, this
Right?
Thursday. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Right on. All right. I thought I saw another person with a raised hand, and I don't see it now. Did somebody get shy? Please come back. Please come back. We want to hear from you. If you've got a question, if there's any confusion, if you have anything to share, please take this time to do so.
Preston has a question.
Great.
I want you to kind of reiterate the question I asked you last night. Like, you're so new to practicing like being in the moment and just enjoying the experience. When is it okay, or how do you like plan for the future, improve your life, you know, when you're just being in the moment all the time?
Did everyone hear that answer?
Can you repeat that, Art? I could tell what he was saying, but it was like a tunnel. So there probably is people that didn't catch it.
Okay. He's suggesting, like, how does one go about the business of being constantly in this moment and then still plan for their life and still think of the future? And, you know, and we went over, me and him kind of went around in this last night. And you know, the first thing I want to say is that people are always talking about being now or being in the moment. And we have a deeper suggestion here. And the suggestion here is that you can't be in the moment, that you can't be in the now, that you are the now. And I will tell you that you are the moment. There's things that happen that make you not what you are and take you somewhere else, but you are the moment. You are now. And so if you understand that, what I mean by that is I will prove to you that you are now, and now because of one reason, that now has never happened without you. Now has never happened without you. So you can't be in the now. You are now. You are now. You're now trying to avoid the perils of going somewhere else. So you're now trying to not be pulled to other places. And when you're now, and you are what you are. And then sometimes we get pulled places. So sometimes instead of being what we are, we be what we're not. We be the future. We be our image. We think about our story. We be a character. So we are at our essential base, at our soul, we're now. We are a soul that's now. And that soul gets ripped to the future sometimes, and it gets ripped to the past sometimes, and then we lose who we are. We go into this character's world of who we are. So he asked, how does somebody plan for the future? And I say you do that now. It's really simple to be present and plan for tomorrow. You just say, tomorrow, I'm going to do this. And when are you doing that? You're doing that now. You're now intentionally thinking about the future, intentionally. This is intentional presence, but it's planning, which is fine. It's practical, needs to be done. You have to. So you can now plan for tomorrow by sitting here today in the now and doing it, being now and doing that. So it's really simple. What we're avoiding is ruminating. What we're avoiding is worry. What we're avoiding is fantasizing. What we're avoiding is daydreaming. What we're avoiding is going somewhere unintentional, being took. And the way we're going to avoid that is we're going to sit at a base and practice staying what we are. Practice being now, which is what we are. We didn't have to practice when we were kids, remember. You weren't a kid trying to be present. You were playing with that truck, and you were present with that truck. There was no future, no past. You were playing the ball game, the soccer game, and there was nothing going on but the soccer game. You were playing a video game, and there was nothing. You didn't have to not worry about tomorrow and play the video game. But you have to look. Something happened about 9 or 10, and you started becoming what you're not. You started becoming this ball of worry, and this ball of anxiety, and this ball of panic, and you got caught up in your equipment. But no, we're not going to get in the now. We're not going to be more now. We're not going to be more presence. We are present. We are presence. That's what we are. Where do you go when you're not present? You go away. Something else shows up. So it's really this understanding that we are what we're looking for. You're looking for more presence. Keep looking. You can look forever. You are presence. Now, once you see that, you got the starting point correct. Your presence trying to not be Brian. Your presence trying to not be Preston. Your presence. Here you are. You're present to something. You're always presence to something. You're always that. So here you are. Just be what you are. Don't be what you're not. You're not your image. You're not your reputation. You're not tomorrow. You're not the past. You're not the body. You're not the mind. Your presence. Yes, Logan.
We can't hear it all for sure.
Go ahead.
It's Blue. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So this goes back to Brian saying, like, if he's obsessing over something and can't get himself back to presence, like, isn't the understanding that I'm obsessing, like, the awareness that I'm obsessing?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like the first step to it, right?
Yeah, just the awareness that you're in it would leave somebody the ability to get out. But some people obsess and don't even know they're doing it. They're just obsessing. That's right. So just that awareness of it will leave you a possibility. And then now we're giving you a possibility. We're saying, hey, you know what stops? As soon as you say the words, I'm obsessing over this out loud, well, now you're not. Now you're talking. But people, you know, we do have a pretty big victim culture. So people like being victims to even their own mind. So when they're obsessing in their mind, they like being in there still. They don't want a solution. They want to obsess more. No, I can't do the dishes right now. I need to sit here and think. No, I can't get out of bed. I need to think. No, I can't do anything other than I need to think. I need to obsess about myself. Self-obsession. We suffer from it. That's what it is. Self-obsessed. Okay, who's next, Ange?
All right.
You better get on.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
All right. Where's our new people? Where'd they go? They have their cameras off. I see Chris Blair out there. If you're willing to turn on your camera, we'd love to meet you. I know we have hi, Chris. Hey, let's say hi to you. So, Chris, we had a consultation just over the phone the other day, and Chris, you're signed up to meet with Art next week with your ex. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Welcome to your first solution group.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really glad you're here. Are you totally and utterly confused?
No, I track. There's a good book called Untethered Souls that talks about sitting in observance. So.
Absolutely. Yep. That's on the top of our list. In fact, we have a recommended book list in the Family Battle. If you've already joined the Family Battles private group on Facebook. Are you a Facebooker?
I got off due to the social dilemma, but it's
right. Well, no worries. But that I can certainly just text you our recommended book list, and that's right up there. So you'll hear us refer to Untethered Soul quite a bit. Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
And then I saw a name out there that I don't recognize. Where did it go? Oh, I don't see him anymore. I thought it was a John, but I don't see him anymore. Oh, John.
Okay, we got a question. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, the camera's not on, so might not be someone willing to say hi. But if you are John Fullenwinder, we would love to say hi and welcome you if you're willing. Or if there's anybody out there just peeking in, please, you can find my number on our website, and please reach out so I can share with you, all the services available to you here and answer any questions that you have. You can feel free to call me tomorrow. What do you guys have?
Bobby?
Just a background. This is my second time coming to.
It sounds like a tunnel. So if we can do something about that, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so I was just saying this is the second time that I came to Rebuild, and I remember the first time coming through the doors with all my strategies on how I wasn't gonna, do the work and how I was gonna get by and get through, and like actually doing the work this time and realizing that that was really just a survival mode. That like when I came here, it was really just the story that I was always attached to, the character that I was always playing, and like I remember the day when I finally observed that I was not self, and like that's like something that I'm focusing on, and like now I keep like remembering things that I was told as a kid, like check yourself, and like and like I can't stop thinking about it because it's like if I'm able to check myself, I'm not myself, and like I laugh about it now because it's so simplistic, and like I enjoy like the conversations that obviously like you and I get to have, but like where do you like I feel like I'm spending too much time like trying to be present or like trying to be present, and like I'll go down I'll go down and I'll spend 4 hours just making these hoodies, and then I'll kind of like I feel like I didn't get anything done, but then like I'll read something and it's like, well, there is no future. The future only exists in thought, and we're never going to get there because we're only present, and like once you are somewhere, you're there, it's reality and it's present. So like it's kind of I guess a similar question to what they asked previously is like I want to enjoy the moment, and I do, and like I think the video reflected that like we are able to have fun and like practice the seriousness of this being a lifestyle change and not necessarily just a program or something we're doing. Like we're flipping it, and we're literally changing our lives. And so how like say 30 days from now when I go to like acclimate myself back into the real world, like how do I not just sit in my apartment and make hoodies, like how do I go to like my job and like perform a task but like stay present, I guess is like what's been on my mind.
Well, what happens is that with this practice of intentional presence, we begin to develop a new layer. I mean, it's almost like we develop a full-time babysitter for us. It's like a full-time babysitter. So when you take this observer position and you stay there and you just start practicing watching yourself and really watching before you speak and your motivation to speak and what is my motivation for what I'm doing now and what is this truth, and trying to find deeper truth and trying to do this, what you really develop is a full-time babysitter of you. And it's kind of always been necessary. When I don't watch me, I get out of control. When I don't watch me, I get off the hook. Like normally bad things happen when I'm not observing myself. I like become bigger than I think I am. I become more arrogant than I thought than I was thinking I was being. This lacking of self-awareness is what drives us to like tell lies that people don't think that we think people don't get, or try strategies that don't work, or give people the silent treatment as a strategy of a relationship, yell at people, whatever it is. But I know for sure when I'm yelling at people, the babysitter's gone and I'm just in it, and I'm just like trying to feel different. And so what happens is you just practice this over time, and as you acclimate back into the world, it kind of like you're just kind of underneath you or above you. You're just kind of there now, and you develop this position that's then developed throughout your day, and you'll find yourself going on further in the practice, just this realization that as whatever conversation you're in, whatever task you're doing, you're present. You're just here as presence, kind of watching and looking over and babysitting yourself. Kind of just, it's beautiful. And all of a sudden, and isn't this the only way that really we can change as a human being? I mean, this is really the only way. We got somebody unmuted.
Yeah, Carrie and Doug have another question. Go ahead.
Okay. Or kind of I'm trying to see if I'm getting where you are, Art. It's your
okay.
Because we're talking about, because Bobby's talking about the future, and I heard a couple of the other kids. So is it I'm trying to paraphrase to see if I understand. So you're cognizant of where you are today, but you know today you have to begin to lay, Chris Dersh is going to love this. You have to lay a project plan out for what's going to happen. And sometimes it's a 2-day plan, and it might get to the point where it extends into a 5-year plan. So are you saying that today you have to be mindful of where you are today as you're laying out that 2-day plan or that 30-day plan or the 45-day plan?
Well, presence is not necessarily, you're not, if you're thinking about tomorrow, that does not mean that you're not present. That doesn't mean that.
Good.
Because I can be in a board meeting, surrounded in a board, and we can all be totally present to the task that we're doing. And it happens to be that the task that we're doing is creating a future.
Great.
Now, and we got to distinguish between practical thinking and psychological thinking.
Good.
You were talking about practical time, being present to practical time. Like I got a court date next Wednesday at 8 a.m. You're present to that. There's no lack of presence there. But psychological time is rumination, fantasizing, what ifing. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope this doesn't happen. If this happens, then I'm going to lie about this. And if I get this disease, I'm going to just tell people I got it from this person. And if I do this, I'm going to do that. And it's just this psychological fantasy land that we go to, excluding. And then as you're in the room, we know, you just have to know this. If you're in a room with somebody, you know, that's the depth of this thing. That's how deep it is. You could be in a car with somebody, in a room with somebody, in a boardroom with somebody. You know who's present or not. Yeah. That's it. You know. And you can be talking about the past and be present while we talk about the past. And you can talk about the future and be present while we talk about the past. You could get together as a family and all be present with each other and totally enthralled in the conversation and talk about 10 years ago. That's presence, because we're here and we're present to what we're talking about. But we're talking about that person that's in the room and they're inside their head. They're gone. You can't even see them. They're just in their phone. They're somewhere else other than in the room. So that's the distinction. And it's a distinction between practical time and psychological time. Practical time being okay.
And I think that's good, because I just want to clarify that both can happen at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can be present to the fact I can sit here and go, hey, tomorrow at noon we're gonna make a bowl of chili. I need somebody to get a piece of paper and we're gonna write down all the chili ingredients, and then we can all plan chili tomorrow, and we can all do that while we're present.
Good.
That's it.
I don't want to hear. I'm being present right now. I can't talk about the future.
Oh, yeah. This isn't a. Yeah. Yeah, we know he'd try to run that shit. We already got him on that.
That's right. Oh, I love it. Thanks. Thank you for the clarification. Very good. And if y'all are out there with a question like that, do pop up like that and say it, because everybody else is wondering it too. So very good. Very good. So we have maybe about 4 minutes left. We do have a closing song that I've sent over to Travis, so we will close with that, but we still have time for one more if someone's got something.
We can go to Bobby. He's got one more.
Great.
Bobby.
Yeah, I was just gonna comment on Kyle's parents. That was a big thing. I actually thought about how I was going to weaponize that, and use that as an excuse. That was going to turn into one of my strategies. Okay, I'm just being present. Yeah, you can't get mad at me, and I look to weaponize it. But once you see it, Kyle and I actually have a lot of things that we work on together, and I can tell you that it is something that we are planning a bunch of things. And the thing for us is what our motivations are. So when we're setting those goals, if our motivation is like we get down to the brass nuts of it is we really just want to enjoy our human experience. You know, like he has got a lot of talents that complement what I do. I have a lot of talents that complement what he does. And we're able to plan for things that we're not like talking about going and buying a bunch of stuff and you know, getting all these things. We're really just trying to figure out how to enjoy the human experience. And when we set those goals, we're not going to the future.
Yeah.
You know, we're taking the steps now that we need to do so that when we do get to that day, you know, we did the right thing in enjoying our human experience. And then when we arrive at our goal, we set goals and we're going to plan for it, but our main focus is to have fun and enjoy the human experience. And I think that when we stay out of our false motivations and our failed strategies, you're not going to really see those rackets come up to, I'm just being present. You know, that's not something that I tried to do it. I can tell you from experience, I tried to weaponize it and use that. And it's like, when you're really practicing this work, and I think that a lot of us in this room are, it's not even something that really pops up. It's trying to enjoy the human experience.
That's right.
Oh, sorry. I'm just putting side by side Kyle and Bobby because I got a text saying that they thought they were brothers. So I was just putting it side by side for a moment for us to check that out. Kyle Munkers. All right. I assumed maybe he was talking about Kyle Burrows.
He was.
Yeah, maybe it was. I was assuming it was Kyle Munkers and Bobby brothers, but maybe it was Kyle Burrows and Bobby. All right. Anyways, go ahead, Art.
Well, you know, that's what we're trying. That's the challenge.
DNA testing. Sorry. That was good, Travis. That was good.
That's the constant challenge. There's something that's happened to us. You know, we were kids and we didn't need goals as kids. We just played and we were already there. So that's kind of the point of this whole thing, is that we're already there. What happened? Where did we go? And why were we already there? And now why are we trying to achieve something that we already achieved as 6-year-olds, that we already achieved as 7-year-olds, but we can't seem to achieve it as an adult? We didn't have to practice presence when we rode our bike when we were kids. We just were present. That was just it. We played until the lights came on, and then mom and dad told us to come home, and we still didn't want to come home. And we didn't care what we had to do tomorrow. We didn't even think about it. And our parents would have to tell us, you need to go to bed because tomorrow's going to happen. And we didn't even know tomorrow was going to happen. We didn't care. The only night that this kind of got hectic in our whole entire life, the only night out of the whole year from 5 to 10 to 13 years old was probably the night of Christmas Eve. That was the only night we couldn't be present because we were so excited about tomorrow. And now something's happened. And we're trying to do this factory reset where we can actually play again, where we can enjoy life without goals. You know, yeah, fine, have goals. We do. We have goals. But goals kind of say something. As soon as you set that goal, it kind of says, I'm going to be happy when. It's kind of hard to avoid that. Just like weight loss. It came to me and they told me, and all of a sudden now I was happy. I was fine. But now he told me I got to be at 205. I set a goal to be at 205 pounds from 230 pounds. And now my life is being about getting to 205 pounds. And somehow I'm going to be happier when I do. And you just forget that. So you set the goal and all of a sudden the goal says, I won't be happy until I achieve this. And that's what we have to really look at. Look at that. Yes, set goals, but please enjoy this ride. Please enjoy every second of it. And goals kind of are tough because as soon as you set that, you're saying, hey, my goal is to buy a house. Okay, what happens to your life until you buy a house? Are you going to enjoy your life until you buy a house? Or are you going to be suffering and anxious and worried and tormented and saying, I'm not going to be happy until I buy a house? And that's what we have to look at with goals and this whole thing. So you have to really, really see what those goals can do to you if the motivations are false. If the premise is set that I'll be better when I achieve that goal than I am now, you're screwed. You're screwed because you're never going to be happy until you're better. And that's this dream that keeps getting sold to us, that we cannot be happy today and we need to do something and be more of something in order to be happy. And it's just a constant sell. It's like, if you ordered a couch from Levitt's and your couch didn't come, you would call the place and say, where's my couch? But if you're ordering spirituality and it doesn't come, they'll just tell you did something wrong. And if you're ordering diet, they tell you what to do on the diet and then it doesn't work, they'll just tell you again, you did something wrong. So it's kind of the same industry. They're just constantly selling you this dream that you're going to be happier later, and it never comes and it never arrives. And that's the whole trick of this thing, is to realize that we all have this. That tonight was as good as it gets. It does not get better than this. We have now, and that's all we have, and we are now, and we continue to be what we are. We avoid being what we're not, and we just go ahead and get back to this clearing. And we see, to be what we are when we were kids, we have to clear away a lot of junk. We have to clear away worry. We have to clear away panic. We have to clear away anxiety. We have to clear it away, and it takes practice now, because we're re-engineering what we already had. We're returning home to a place that we already lived. And we have forgotten that we live there already. We've forgotten how easy it is. Just be a kid again. There, you're done. No more spirituality, no nothing. Remember when you were a kid and you just went up and hugged everyone? You didn't protect yourself. You didn't say, ooh, look at that person, I got to run from them. Remember how you protected your friends. Remember how you defended each other. Remember how you hugged your buddy. Remember how you didn't talk behind their back. Remember how you teamed up. Remember how you worked as a team when you were a kid. Remember how you didn't care about your reputation and if you look cool or whatever it is. And remember your buddy wore cool shoes and you said cool shoes. And then you wore cool shoes and you guys had cool shoes together. You didn't go say cool shoes to your buddy and then go turn your back on him and say those shoes are stupid. You didn't do that. So we already had it once on this planet. We have already done it in the human experience. We just lost it. And now it's just this factory reset and getting it back. Learning to play again. Learning to be okay in here. Learning that we don't need to worry every day and panic and do all that kind of stuff. We can just sit here and talk until 1 a.m. and not worry about what's happening tomorrow or what is going to do. We can just enjoy the moment so much that time flies. Time just goes away. And that's kind of what happens here sometimes. We got away from ourselves last night, went on till midnight, and forgot that we have to be to bed at 10:30. It was beautiful. So anyways, once again, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for getting a look into what we're doing here. And please see Angie about or call me about the services. If you need to call about the services of Rebuild and you want to come join us for groups, we have a cost to those groups. We have a cost to coaching. It takes a lot to buy this camera stuff so they can play all day. And it takes a lot to feed us all and keep this thing churning. So there's cost to everything we're doing here. And if you'd like to come and join us and do your part, we can work it out and have you come to group and coaching and whatever you want. We have a bunch of services available, and it's a great place to be, and we all enjoy it. But thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the honor of letting us come there.
Yeah, and you can call me for any questions. We do have a closing song. I was trying to unmute Riley. He had, I don't know if it's a dedication, a suggestion, a song that's meaningful to him. Don't start it yet, Travis, because I'm going to stop the recording because of the copyright. Riley, did you have a special meaning in this song?
I just liked it. I thought it was a good, positive song for everybody.
Okay, great. I'm going to stop the recording because of the copyright.